What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AUTOBAHN. My name is Max, and today you join me with the Cupra Terramar, and we're not doing just any review today. I took this car on a trip. I've done 1700 kilometers in just over a week, and well, I'm going to take that experience with me of a bit of a longer test, a bit more mileage, a bit longer time, and well, I thought it would be interesting to take that with us because this is not a regular Cupra. That is something that I've learned. It is more geared towards actually, you know, family life, longer journeys, more practical, more space, less sporty driving, like we know from Cupra, because they have a lot of models. This is the third crossover basically, and well, we're going to see how it compares to those as well. So that's what we're going to do today. I'll show you the spec, I'll show you a couple of cool things on it, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. And I'll also here and there give you little experiences that I've had with the car on my trip. Design wise, we've got a typical Cupra design. I always feel like it's sort of insect face design, so it's super aggressive with those waspy headlights, very downward and inward, and then of course you've got the praying mantis Karate Kid transformer logo on the bonnet. Very aggressive front grille, super open with a fog light over there and some air ducts there. The triple DRL, which gives it a very distinctive look. You can just immediately recognize a Terramar, which I think is pretty cool. Terramar, by the way, if my Spanish is good enough, I think that's Earth Sea. So the Cupra Earth Sea is I think Terramar sounds good, but Earth Sea is a bit weird for a car anyway. So dark void is this color, I believe. So it's a little purple gray color. You actually have quite a few nice colors available at Cupra, so you don't have to have a dull spec. I think that's the whole idea of Cupra anyway. And you get a lot of these copper accents, like on the wheels. If you go for these Hadron copper wheels, 20-inch optionally. As standard, the Terramar comes on 18s. This is a 255 Continental Sport Contact 6. Brakes behind that, not great. Actually, you know, looking at the size, I kind of know why. Performance is not great, brake pedal feels not great. I think it has something to do with the regeneration. I didn't really like it in other Cupras, VW products. Sometimes it just feels a bit weird. Sometimes you hit the brakes and you're like, oh, I wish there was a little bit more just performance there immediately to give you a little bit of confidence. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm under braking it, and it's not a great feeling. However, if you look just above that, you can actually see one of the standout features of the car, which is the dynamic chassis control, adaptive dampers with the slider. We've talked about this before. I absolutely love it. I adored it on my trip because it is so comfortable. It is so refined. The damper control, it's a 2-valve damper if I'm not mistaken, and the range that you get on this damper from 3 steps before comfort to 3 steps beyond dynamic is crazy. It is honestly, it is day and night. Even the comfort to super comfort, let's call it super comforts, like 3 steps, even that difference is very noticeable. So if you have all those steps 14, it's huge. So it's one of my favorite things, you know, driving down the highway 600-700 kilometers on a day, doing a lot of B-road after that. It just, the range of the chassis, of the suspension is beautiful. Absolutely loved that. Also really like the look of it actually. I think front is a bit busy, but still I do quite like it. But then if you look at this side profile, I think it's actually quite a handsome car. Beautiful roofline, a lot of stuff happening over there, but it gives the car sort of a sleek look, even though it's, well, it's quite a big car. It's not that big. I thought it was bigger, but then I had it next to my Volvo XC90, which I would have taken normally, which is absolutely massive, of course, but this suddenly looked like a small car. So I did have some issues getting all my crap in there. Normally I wouldn't have any issues, I think. It would have fit my Volvo easily. But this, you know, you have a battery below the floor. So you have 400 liters here. I think the non-hybrid has like 508. So it's quite a big difference. You don't really have storage down there either. So I put the cables, the charging cables there. So yeah, it's not that practical when you look at luggage space, but in the end I did get everything in there, like stroller, big suitcase, all the stuff for my almost 1-year-old daughter, my wife, myself. I did have to use the rest of the rear seat, of course. Just piled everything in there, but it fit, and I was not really expecting that. When I opened it up for the first time, I said to my wife, we're never going to fit everything in here, but we did. It is a VZ Performance, this, but you don't really get any like exhaust things. You do get this super nice rear light with the triangles, and the only 2 Terramar logos that you can find on the car over here. That's it. So 1, 2 on the other side is the second one, and that's it. So let's have a look at the engine. No, let's have a look at the rear seat, because since this is a family car review, let's also do that. You do have the big seat, which is slightly cumbersome and does, well, take up quite some space, but actually not bad. This is actually pretty spacious, and you also have adjustable rear seat. So this and this are separately adjustable, and also you have your backrest, which you can adjust, so you can go for a little bit more comfort and have a little bit more of a loungy seating position. Or if you need to haul more stuff and you don't need the rear seat, you can just do that and then do that, and you have, well, you can still fit a kid in here, but then suddenly you have quite a bit more luggage space. So yeah, this is super practical. Also more copper details, a little bit of ambient lighting hidden in there, which is nice. It's quite subtle there. And of course VZ Performance is what this model is called, but it is an eHybrid VZ Performance. We don't get the regular VZ, the 2-liter TSI 4-wheel drive, like proper Cupra 265 horsepower version in the Netherlands. Unfortunately, we get this VZ Performance with a 1.5 liter TSI engine, so a turbocharged internal combustion engine combined with an electric motor that delivers 116 horsepower. The engine delivers 177, and then you end up with 272 horsepower, 400 newton meters of torque, which is quite good. 26 kilowatt hour battery, and that means that you have an electric range of theoretically 120 kilometers, but I think realistically between 90 and 100 should be doable, which is good. That's actually very, very nice. It's a good amount of range. I think most people, you know, their daily commute should be doable, and it also really improves the drivability and the sort of the refinement of the drivetrain, and that's the only downside you have with this type of thing. So on paper it looks really good, 272 horsepower, 400 newton meters of torque, 120 kilometers of electric driving, you know, super good fuel economy. However, if the engine has to work, it's a 1.5 liter engine. You know, if the battery is dead, it does not feel that refined. But let's talk more about that when we drive it, and we'll take a look at the interior here. So this is where I spent most of my time, of course, driving to Normandy, and also doing a lot of trips over there to and from, like Deauville, Honfleur, stuff like that. Super nice, a lot of B roads, and I think this is a really good cockpit. So I really feel like this is actually where this car is setting itself apart. It's not the sportiness that we are used to from Cupra when it comes to the driving experience, but it is the really good interior quality materials, all the copper details, everything just feels quite premium. It's more, I think, towards Audi than it is towards VW, and I think that's really nice. Also, infotainment is good, pretty clear with all the little app menus and stuff. It's good to use now. The newer versions of this system are very nice. And also you have a very nice triple shortcut. So your lane keep, your speed limit warning and your attention assist, you can just turn it off by doing that 3 tap, which is good. You can also hit that button and then use the little wheel on the right here to do lane assist and speed warning, which is good. So I did 1738 kilometers until today and averaged 7.6 liters, which is actually very, very good because I only used like 1.5 charge and the rest, so like 150 kilometers you can take away from that, and the rest was done on the internal combustion engine alone because I charged it up before I went, ran out the battery, and then I charged it up today for the review, and that's it. So that's actually very, very impressive. And yeah, let's go for a drive. We've got Cupra mode over there. Well, let's start in comfort, because as I said, refinement is very good as long as you don't strain. Oh, little Opel, cool. As long as you don't strain the internal combustion engine. So you have comfort for the suspension, and then basically you just take off in electric mode. So it's super quiet, but also if you just have the internal combustion engine going but you're not straining it, it's also pretty good. But let's turn around here and I'll let you guys hear the sound of the car in Cupra mode. Exterior sound is very little. It's very, very little sound. You have a little bit of fake, well, quite a bit of fake sound in Cupra mode. It's a bit of a weird sound as well. I mean, I don't really know what they're going for. It's almost like a V8. V80? I don't know. Traction control off. But yeah, it fits the Cupra brand. I get that. So it's also nice because sometimes you want a bit more feedback from, you know, actual driving, and I think that's where fake sound is sometimes pretty handy. So launch control. 7.3 claimed by Cupra, and I did 6.7. It's not bad. 6.7. Not bad actually. That's quite quick and a lot faster than Cupra claims, so that's good as well. We'll keep it in Cupra mode for now for the B road. And here's what I think after my trip, and I think this is why this was a very, very useful trip to do, to kind of gauge the car and to review the car, because I think it's not been set up like other Cupras. If you look at a Formentor, it's really, really good to drive, and that's also because it is on a completely different platform. It's on a Golf platform. It's like a raised Golf. This is on a Tiguan platform, so it's an SUV. It's a bigger crossover, but it's more SUV-like. So my expectation going in, looking at, you know, the Formentor, the Tavascan, also crossovers, was that it was going to be a lot more sporty than it actually is. So if I would have taken this car just here, hooned it around on our B road and then the Autobahn, I would have had a completely different conclusion, I think. Because I think what it is just a fast family cruiser. And I think in that respect, they've done a really good job. That's a Formentor. You can see it's actually quite a bit smaller. It's only 7 centimeters longer, this, but it is quite a bit higher, and I think it's also quite a bit wider. So the moment you realize that, and that's why I think it's a good thing that I took this on a trip and did more, you know, distance and more time with it. The sooner you realize that, the more you actually enjoy the car, because you take a step back. Just keep the gearbox, which is a 6-speed DSG, keep that in sport or drive. Don't do the flappies, don't use the pedals, because it automatically upshifts anyway, and sometimes there's a not really good, I'm using the pedals, don't use the pedals. Sometimes it's not really synced well, the internal combustion engine dies down, it just shuts off, and then you shift down with your pedal and there's nothing there, and then you have to wait for it to start up again, and it just doesn't really work to drive this car like you would like a proper VZ Cupra. This is best used, just drive it fast, use it as a family car. It's actually really good. So I'm in Cupra mode now, but let's go to individual. And then I've got the dampers set up in the 3rd Super Comfort. That's what we're calling it, Super Comfort. And then I've got the engine in Cupra, and then I've got the sound in Performance, because I think Cupra is a bit too loud, and then the rest is in Comfort. The difference between these settings, between this, is insane. As I said, so when you're on the highway, you just keep it in the most comfortable setting. If you feel like it's just bouncing a little bit too much, you just go there. If you think like, well, okay, I'm actually, it's a super, I don't know, super smooth highway, or you're doing a big B road, you just do it like that. It's so good, the way you can adjust it and the difference it makes. It just completely transforms the car. Really good. So 100 to 200, also measured that. I did 17.8, which is good, fast enough. It's not really fast, it's just, it's quick enough. And for just the driving interactions with your, you know, brakes, not great. The gearbox feels a bit outdated. If you really start pushing it, it doesn't feel that quick. You have the engine that doesn't sound that good. So these are all things that mount to something that the car is not made for that, if you know what I mean. So that's when you start feeling like, no, this is not what it's for. Just relax, take a step back, drive it as a fast family car, like I did with my wife and my kid in the car. I'm not, you know, doing Cupra and manual mode and stuff like that on the B roads, the back roads of Normandy. No, I'm just taking it easy, driving, you know, quickly, but fluently. And when you do that, it's actually really good. Also, another cool feature, we've seen this a lot before, but I used it a lot on my trip. So you've got the recuperation, you can set that to weak, automatic or strong. I left it in automatic a lot, which means that if you're driving on the highway and you get off the throttle and you have a car in front of you, it closes the distance with the recuperation to the car in front of you. And it does so on B roads as well, when you get up to a roundabout, or when the speed limit changes, or on like intersections. It works really well, and means that you hardly have to use the brake, but it's not one pedal driving, which I don't like. So it's a really good solution, and it works really well. So this is around top speed. .215, 216 GPS. I've done 227, I think, on the speedo. But let's just get that sound out of the way. I think on the highways this is better. When I went to France, you're doing cruising speed like 150, 160. It's super nice. It's just sometimes when the engine has to work a bit too hard. So now it shifts up to 6, it's super quiet. When the engine has to work too hard, it's a little bit, it's a little bit, well, it's not that nice to listen to. But again, the suspension on these bumps, it's so good. You don't understand how good it is. It's like air suspension light, I would say. It's, and a very good one at that. It's just insane. So the refinement that you don't have from that 1.5 liter engine, I don't really care, because you don't strain the engine too much in normal driving, and the refinement that you get from the suspension is insane. Also, you know, tire and wind noise, 200 plus, of course you do hear some, but 150, 160, I felt it was so nice, so quiet, a super relaxing experience with the family, while still having, like, you know, proper some power and a good interior. And yeah, I think it's a very complete car. It's, well, it's a relatively good value for money deal. It's quite practical, it's fast enough, I think it's good looking, and you have the standout suspension. And if you look at, for instance, a Tiguan, I think this is a bit less boring. I also really like the VW Golf Mark 8 8.5 GTE, which has the same drivetrain, but you don't have the estate version, the station wagon. It doesn't exist, so you need something bigger. You have the same drivetrain. So yeah, I think it's quite a cool car. I really enjoyed it on my trip. As I said, fuel economy was pretty good for driving quite fast with just the 1.5 liter. Yeah, so thanks to Cupra for supplying the car. Of course, thanks to you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button. You can check out the video on the right, the playlist on the left, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.